Let's set up the null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis for these three situations. We'll start with the first one. We got Fred. He claims that his truck gets more than 25 miles per gallon on average. Now the way you want to set it up is you want to put H with a subscript O that represents the null hypothesis, colon, and then put H with a subscript 1 below it. This is the alternative hypothesis. Now you want to know what statistic you're dealing with. You're dealing with average or mean. So the claims are about, the population. So since we're dealing with the mean, that is going to be mu. So you want to put mu for both of them. The null hypothesis always has an equal sign. The alternative hypothesis is right here in the claim. More than is greater than. So the null hypothesis is going to be that the population mean is equal to 25 miles per gallon. And the alternative is going to be that the population mean is greater than 25. That is how you set up the null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis. Let's look at this situation. The teacher claims that less than 1 in 10 students fail. All right, so we have the null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. It's always set up like this, with the null hypothesis up top and the alternative on the bottom. Now this one's dealing with a proportion. So we're going to use P for these two. Now the null hypothesis always has an equal sign. And the alternative, this time it says less than. So that's going to be a less than sign. 1 in 10, 1/10, that's 0.1. So the null hypothesis is going to be that the population proportion is equal to 0.1, and the alternative hypothesis is going to be that it's less than 0.1. All right, those are those two. Let's look at this last one. It says the company claims that the mean, that means we're dealing with mu, that the mean sugar content per box is different than 100 grams. So again, we got the HO and H1. Since we're dealing with mean, that's mu again. Now this one doesn't say less than or more than, it says different than. So this one, the null hypothesis is going to be equal again, but the alternative is going to be not equal to. So the null hypothesis is that the population mean is equal to 100, and the alternative would be that the population mean is not equal to 100 grams. Here's 3 different ways to set up the null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis. If it's a greater than sign, that's going to be a right tail test. If it's a less than sign, that's a left tail test. And if it's a not equal to sign, that is a two tail test.